India, Honorable Shri Yashwantrao Sawan Sahib. Good morning and warm welcome to one and all present over here. Education is not acquisition of knowledge but formation of character. We roll down a red carpet of welcome to all dignitaries, invites faculty and students on behalf of Department of Electronics and Computer Science, Yashwantrao Sahan Institute of Science, Satara, for this national seminar on sustainable agriculture and smart technology. It's an honor that this beautiful audience have gathered here for national seminar. Once again, I welcome you all. I welcome today's chief guest, Honorable Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi, Director and Honorable Secretary, Nimkar Agriculture Research Institute, Phaltan. Today's resource person, Honorable Dr. Arvind Shaligram, Director ISRO Space Technology Center and CEO of Savitribai Phule Pune University Research Park Foundation, Pune. President of this event, Honorable Dr. B.P. Jadhav, Principal Yashwantrao Sahan Institute of Science, Satara. Honorable Mr. S.K. Shinde, Head Department of Electronics and Computer Science, Vice Satara. Also, I welcome all the heads of all departments, staff members and participants on this occasion. I would like to request Mr. S.K. Shinde to give introduction of today's function and welcome our chief guest.
I will briefly introduce about today's chief guest. Dr. Anil Rajvanshi sir, a rural-based engineer residing in Phaltan, Maharashtra, India, in district Satara, has for the last 4 decades pioneered the development of technologies spanning a whole spectrum of areas affecting the lives of rural population, namely renewable energy-based cooking and lighting, power generation from agricultural residues, renewable fuel production from agriculture, electrical cycle, rickshaw, water purification, effluent treatment through the use of renewable energy and value-added products from the farm produce. In this, he has the first person to promote the use of high technology for rural development, an idea that is in trending nowadays. Born and raised in Lucknow, Dr. Rajvanshi sir went to United States to pursue higher studies at the University of Florida, following his bachelor and master's degree in mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur in early 1970s. After receiving his PhD from University of Florida in 1979, he taught at the same university for 2.5 years and then did something that young men of his age and education rarely did. He left very lucrative career in the US to come back to rural Maharashtra in 1981 to apply his training for developing rural India. Dr. Rajvanshi sir established the Energy and Sustainable Development work at Nimkar Agriculture Research Institute, NARI, situated in Phaltan, in Maharashtra. His work in Nimkar Agricultural Research Foundation and some achievements are: he is the principal author 1996 of National Policy on Energy Self-Sufficient Taluka, which is being managed by NARI. This is the precursor of National Biomass Power Plant Program and was probably the inspiration behind Pura program. Also, Dr. Rajvanshi sir pioneered development of electrical rickshaw in the late 1990s. So, sir have pioneered the work related to e-rickshaw in 1990. He was the first person to initiate program of e-rickshaw in the country, which is now also trending everywhere. She developed a unique program of improving cooking and lighting technology for rural areas. Consequently, his group developed the fuel Nuri lantern, and various biomass applications related to rural development. Various works at NARI, some of them are he pioneered the development of low-cost power-based water purifiers. A US-based group, IEEE and ASME, has named this as one of the 10 life-changing technology to come out of India. In our institute, we have also technology transfer office, research office. His efforts have shown how small rural science and technology institute working on shouldering budget can pioneer technologies for rural India and has inspired similar efforts in India and the world. Dr. Rajvanshi sir has served on many committees like those of Planning Commission, Advisory Board on Energy, NARI, MERC, etc. He has more than 230 publications, some of them in prestigious national and international journals, 7 patents, 5 books and various chapters in books. Sir have written various books like A Life of an Ordinary Indian and Exercise in Self-Importance. He has lectured and given keynote address at many universities in USA and India. He regularly gives inspirational lectures to a large number of students and prestigious institutes like IIT, MIT and IIMs. Besides the technology work, Dr. Rajvanshi sir has great interest in spirituality, Indian philosophical thought and holistic development. He, in his book Nature of Human Thought and his various writings which appear regularly in Speaking Tree of Times of India, sir believes that spirituality with high technology should be the mantra of India's development and will lead to sustainable and holistic living. And this is our today's theme of the seminar. He practices what he preaches and thus lives a simple life in rural Maharashtra while developing high technology for rural India. In essence, he is spiritual engineer, thus he is a person who blends effortlessly spiritual knowledge, modern high technology and sustainable living. Some of the major contributions are he had shown that in rural setting, excellent research and development on rural problems can be done in limited resources and budget. He calls this as romance of innovation. The term is given by Sir. Thus, he and his group have many firsts to their credits in developing technologies for rural areas. He inspired youngsters in top engineering and other colleges to take part in nation building through the use of science and technology. Dr. Rajvanshi sir has given inspirational lectures on his work to almost 10,000 students in IIT, MIT, NIT and other prestigious institutes in country and abroad. Quite number of these lectures have also been put on the YouTube. We can also see their channels. He has tried to interpret the ancient Indian philosophical thought in the light of modern science and technology. Some of the awards which is given by Sir is in 2001, Dr. Rajvanshi Sir received the prestigious Jamnalal Bajaj Award for the application of science and technology for rural India from Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister. His work led to Linker Agricultural Research Institute getting the FISI Platinum Jubilee Award in 2002 from Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. In 2022, he has given Distinguished Alumnus Award by IIT Kanpur. In 2020, Government of India gave him one of the highest civil awards, Padma Shri. Many more awards, national awards have given to Sir. Some prestigious international awards in which in 1998, Dr. Rajvanshi Sir was inducted in the US based Solar Hall of the Fame. He is the second Indian to be inducted in this Hall of Fame. many more awards in name of sir. International awards are there. Some impact of their work is he developed a complete technology of electrical cycle rickshaw in the late 1990s. So yeah, so with this I will conclude with a remark. Dr. Rajvamshi sir, decision of living a stellar career in the United States and coming to rural town with non-existent resources just to work for the country is in itself an inspiration for generation to come. He is living role model for the youth of the country which prefers to go abroad rather than stay in India and try to improve it. After coming to India in 1981, he worked for rural development past 37 years. Or still he is working for rural development. So such an eminent personality is with us. With this short introduction, I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Honorable Principal Dr. B.P. Raghav sir to felicitate our chief guest, Honorable Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi sir, Director and Honorable Secretary, Youth Agriculture Research Institute, Phaltan. Principal Dr. B.P. Raghav sir to felicitate Nimkar ma'am. Panelists of this event, Honorable Mr. Sharad Kadam sir, Founder and CEO of Agrosun Aadhar LLP. Thank you, sir. I would like to request Mr. S. Keshindra sir to felicitate President of this event, Honorable Dr. B.P. Raghav sir, Principal Yashwantharao Kumar Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you, sir. I request to Padma Shri Dr. Anil Rajvanshi sir to give an inspirational talk on how to be a good citizen.
गुड मॉर्निंग. माझी मराठी एकदम वाईट आहे. मी तुम्हाला हिंदी किंवा इंग्लिशमध्ये सांगू का? Normally, I only go to the places where the students are there because to me you are the future of this country and I enjoy interacting with the youngsters. Because I believe that the coming century will be the century of India and you will play a very important role. And so, irrespective of where you come from, you should feel how you can make this country great, and in doing that, you will yourself become a great human being. You are all taught about different subjects in your classes, but nobody teaches you how to be a good citizen, how to do ethical work. So I thought, and this is what I do. In fact, next week I am going as a chief guest to IIT Kanpur, where there is a very big Technity festival happening. Technity is one of the largest festivals in Asia, and I am one of the keynote speakers, and this is the talk I am going to sit there, what I am giving. How do we become good citizens? First of all, I would like to thank Dr. B.T. Jadhav and Mr. Shashikant Shinde for inviting me, and I am delighted to be here. Rayat Shikshan Sansthan is one of the oldest educational organizations of Phaltan. And I think you should be proud that you are in one of the very old institution and see how you can do wonderful work. I would like not to talk too much because I believe in interaction. And I would like to get some sharp questions from you. आप लोग क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे तो उससे ज़्यादा अच्छा इंटरेक्शन होता है. I can explain to you a lot of things and I think that will be very nice. So I expect that you have had your good breakfast, so your brains are working, you will not sit simply silent and you will ask questions. Is it acceptable? Good. Today we will talk about how to be good citizens. This can happen only when you do things honestly. Don't think about the country, don't think about the world, don't think about anything else. Whatever you do, you should do it in an excellent manner. Whether it is your studies, whether you want to do something to help your neighbor or your friend, do it with passion and do it with excellence. And when you do that, then you can really help not only your surroundings, but slowly all of this can be combined to make this country great. Our greatest, the man who gave us independence was Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi always believed that if we change ourselves and little bit of our surroundings, each one of us, then this all of us together can change this country and the world. And that is what you should be doing it, and that is what I tell all the students. Don't be overawed by the problems that exist. Just look at the problems around you, 6 foot from you, where you are, and try to solve that. And if you do that, that is the start of your becoming a good citizen. But for that, you have to be focused. How much time do you spend on social media? Raise your hand. All the time you are sending SMS, you are on WhatsApp, you are on Facebook, you are on everything except something useful. And when you do that, you are not becoming a human being. Human beings have a huge brain where we should think, contemplate, reflect. Because when you do that, then you start thinking about what are the issues, how can we solve it. What you do right now is simply react. If you send an SMS and you don't get a reply of SMS, you are like fish out of water. एकदम छटपटा जाते हो, हालत खराब होती है, क्यों नहीं आया मैसेज, क्या बात है, दिन रात जो है इसी में सोचो। और जब ये करते हो तो तुम कभी सोचते नहीं हो, कभी थिंक नहीं करते हो, कभी कंटेम्पलेट नहीं करते हो। और हम लोग जो है, जो भी है, बिकॉज ऑफ आवर ब्रेन। द डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ ग्रेट पर्सन एंड अ वेरी ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ ब्रेन। If you have a very powerful brain, which means that you have a tremendous concentration, which means that when you concentrate on anything, whether it is an object, subject, or whatever it is, you get an answer. That is what Patanjali has written in his Yoga Sutra. That contemplation, thinking, and reflection on any object for a very long time brings out the secrets of the nature. In fact, all great discoveries have happened like that. So, focus and just give the time to yourself. I would suggest to all of you to write for the next 15-20 days the amount of time from morning till night when you go to sleep, how much you spend on social media. Internet is a very powerful tool. In fact, when I came back from the United States in 1981, Phaltan was a place where, because I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, and then you realize, I left a very lucrative job in the United States out of madness and arrogance, madness that I thought that with my knowledge I should be able to change India. India does not change. India is a very ancient civilization. It changed me. It taught me humility, humility in the sense that I realized that the problems of rural India are so huge that for 7 generations, if I am reborn again and again, I cannot solve it. That's the humility. It taught me simplicity because when you live in rural area, you simplify your life. And it brought back my spirituality. And I think these 3 things combined can make you a nice and a decent human being. And I think that is what we should practice. So when I came back, in those times there was no internet, there was no information. So you can imagine I went to one of the top English medium schools in Lucknow, then to one of the best IITs in India in 1960s. IIT Kanpur was the top IIT in India because all of us were taught by American professors. And from there I went to the United States to the very top university where I got my PhD and then got there for 2.5 years and left in a fit of madness and arrogance. And madness is required when you want to do something wonderful in life. If you do not have madness in you, then you will all become bank clerks. How many of you want to become bank clerks? Here is one honest person. How many of you come from the rural, from the farming background? So what you would like to do after you finish your studies? Would you like to go back to farming?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Good. Because this is the biggest, this is what I was telling Dr. Jadhav, that we will all eat food, we will not eat nuts and bolts or software. And yet all of you would like to go back to software, do all the computer programming, but the most important thing is farming. And to me the wealth of the country comes from its farming. So all of you who are from the farming community should go back to farming. Not in the old way, learn about in a new way, learn about what is available. And that is what I come back to, that modern technology of internet, modern technology of smartphones is very useful, but it should be utilized. There is a huge amount of knowledge which is available on the internet. Probably you don't even know what is available. Because you spend all the time in your software, in your social media, and the amount of knowledge, if you take it from the internet, it will make you a better human being, better person. Because when you start solving the problem, in your case for the farming, then you will help this country become a very great country. How many of you would like to go to abroad? So this person wants to do everything. He wants to be a bank knocker, he wants to go abroad also, he wants to do farming also. So are you a student or a professor? Huh? Good. So the main thing is this, that why do you want to go abroad? Why? Who said you can't get knowledge from there? Just because you opened your mouth? When I came back, that's what I was trying to tell you. When I came back, I did not have any library in Phaltan. Phaltan was a place where to make even long distance phone calls, I had to hop on the bus. It was a 4-hour journey to Pune, and from my friend's office, I would make phone calls. That was Phaltan. Phaltan was an overgrown village with hardly any facility, but there was a janoon. And it is the janoon which makes you do something different. Janoon or the passion is what you should inculcate in your life. If you just do ordinary things, then you will become ultimately a bank knocker as this gentleman will like to become. But if you want to do something wonderful in your life, then have a vision. Whatever you are interested in, follow that interest and you will do wonderful things. And it is this focus on doing something wonderful is what will make you a good citizen and a good human being. Because when you do that, all the other pin picks go away, you focus so much on the work that you lose time, you lose all other things, because it is an empty mind. Empty mind is a devil's workshop. When you have nothing else to do, you only think about pagar, you only think about where you will get the maximum money without doing anything. But when you are focused, when you want to do something good with your life, when you are passionate, then you will do something wonderful. So, question is this. This gentleman said he wants to go abroad for knowledge. Today, sitting in a Khedegaon in Satara district, if you have the internet, you are attached to the same information base as a person who sits in MIT Boston or New York or Washington DC or Berkeley or Caltech. It is, the knowledge is available freely all over the world at the same time. As somebody said, the world has become flat. It is no more a different world. Whatever you are sitting here in Satara, the same knowledge is what is available if you go to America. So why not make this country so great that you don't want to go to America, that you don't want to go to Australia? Is it the only reason that you want to go to Australia or America, that because you want to learn? I think a lot of people want to go to America and Australia or other countries because they think the quality of life is better. The quality of life can be made better by nobody else but by you. You are the future. You are the people who will make this country great. Is it asking too much? Is it asking too much? So why can't we make this country great? If we all think that no, this is a very bad country, then this country will never become great. You should ask yourself, how do I change my environment just 6 foot? I'm not asking you to change Satara, I'm not asking you to change your village. Just how will you modify and improve your environment? When I came back to the United States, I decided to work on the projects which are there, what were the problems which existed in our area. So when I came from in Phaltan in 1981, there was very little electricity. So all the time at night, I would work in the Kandi. So I started thinking, what is this thing called Kandi? How many of you have used Kandi? You still have used? It's amazing. No electricity. So Kandi was made in 1860s, and one of the biggest factories was in Oglewadi, Ogle Glass Works. Have you visited Oglewadi? They were the largest kandil makers in India, and my wife Nandini's grandfather was one of the directors of Oglewadi. So when I came back to the United States, I visited Oglewadi to see where the kandil is made, and nothing had been changed since 1860. So we started working on improving the kandil, and we were the first people in the world to make a very first-class lantern running on kerosene, which produced excellent light. But then the factors changed and the kerosene was removed, and so we had to go back to our drawing board. The same thing happened when I came back from America. That the whole, even today, all the sugar cane, when it is harvested, the pachet is burned. It is such a waste of energy and such a waste of fuel. So we developed the whole technology of producing power from the pachet and from residents. And that is what led to the national policy of biomass program in this country. So I'm simply saying is that wherever you are, if you change your surroundings a little bit, it will give you a great joy and satisfaction, and it will make you a good human being. So that is the most important thing that I can tell you. Now, how do you focus on something? How do you increase your concentration? Tell me, how do you increase your concentration? How many of you practice meditation? Do you know what meditation is? Dhyan. when you are looking at your mobile, is it dhyan? Why is it not dhyan? Because dhyan is a focus on a single thought for a very long time. Your mind will wander here and there. You will hear the noise, you will see something, and then your mind will wander. Dhyan is a focus on a single thought, object, whatever it is, for a very long time. And this is not something great about that you are becoming a religious person, etc. It is just a way of increasing your concentration. When you have a fantastic concentration, then you can apply that concentration on anything, and it will make you do wonderful things, because then the whole knowledge will come to you. And that is the basis, to my mind, the first step in becoming a good human being. Because when you concentrate, when you start realizing what is good and what is not good. How many of you, you wear one shirt, one pant, one kurta? How many of you have 100 kurtas, pants, saris? Raise your hand. We are discussing. Why do you want to have so many clothes? Why do you keep on changing your mobile every 2-3 years? Because of the tremendous insecurity that you have. If you are secure, to you communication, decent clothing, that is what is required. That havas goes away, and that havas is the cause of all the miseries. And if you reduce your havas, you will become a better human being, better citizen. It is this havas which has created the biggest problem in the world, not only in India, but all over the world. The difference between very rich and poor is so huge now. There are 3% of the rich people in this country which control 70% of the total wealth. Rest all of us don't have that control, which is a very sad thing. And the sad part is that all of you want to become that rich because of the house. Because every day, this is what you see in your internet, this is what you see in the WhatsApp, they all keep on telling you how to become super rich. In fact, I always tell the students that you don't have to study, you just know how to go and rob ATM or rob bank and you become super rich. And more than that, you become a politician, you become even super rich. That is not how we will make this country great. We will make this country great by doing honestly good work. And when you do that, when all of us will do that, then this country will progress, will also make good living for everybody, and will contribute to a sustainable and emotionally satisfying life. So this is what we should be. Now, I don't want to talk too much. I would like to have more interaction. And as Mr. Shinde said, whichever work we did, we feel very proud. We contributed tremendously to this country. Electric rickshaw, you must have seen electric rickshaws all over the country, and that came from our work in 1990s. The whole program of biomass. So even a small institute, I just want to tell you that we had no facilities when I came, but slowly we will build up. And you don't require too much money to do good work. If you are sincere, then things happen. And that is what I would like to give as a small thing to you. And you please can read all whatever we have done in our website. The website is shown. And can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. Go. Click. So besides my technology work, I also write a lot on spirituality, not on religion, but what I have discussed right now, how we can all become a good human being. And I have written around 5 books. And all of these books I have made freely available on the net, because to me the knowledge should be freely available. Please read them. The first book, 1970s America, is my journey from IIT Kanpur to America and back to rural Maharashtra. The second book, romance of innovation is about all our work in renewable energy. I think it's a very enjoyable, you will read. A lot of people are inspired, they come to our institute for internship after reading this book. How we did work, how with very little resources we solved some of the very critical problems, and what was the nature of the problem and how we went about doing it. And the two books on the top are on spirituality. What is mind? What is human thought? How you think, how the neurons work. I'm a mechanical engineer, but I think if you have a passion, you can do anything. And so I do a lot of very deep brain research. Try to see how the memory is formed, what happens in the brain, what exactly is the process by which we become neurotic. We have a lot of psychological mass, and so on and so forth. And I think if you read this, you will learn something, and hopefully you will be inspired. So my final thoughts are: spend less time on social media and strive for excellence and dream of being happy and peaceful. A lot of times your peers, your teachers, so many other people say that you dream big, but dream big for what? If you can dream to become a good human being and peaceful, all other things come. I have always believed that Saraswati comes first, Lakshmi comes afterwards. Lakshmi always follows Saraswati, not the other way around. So have the knowledge, create great intellectual capital, and then the financial capital will follow. So with this word, I thank the organizers for inviting me, and I will be delighted to start the question answer session.
सर I have one question.
Yes.
आप तो IIT में हैं, कानपुर से आपने IIT कंप्लीट की, अमेरिका में जाके PhD कंप्लीट की, और फिर 1-2 साल टीचिंग आपने किया, and then you have settled and work for the Phaltan and rural area. How that is very difficult to you at the initial stage, but how you have to that match?
देखो ऐसा होता है कि हम दोनों, my wife and I, we both were doing PhD in America. She got her PhD in economy, I got it. तो जब दोनों ही डिसाइड करते हैं कि आना है, then happens. My wife is from Phaltan. We didn't know that we'll come to Phaltan because I got, before I came, I had a full faculty position in IIT Kanpur, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, RL, Hyderabad, Trivandrum, BHEL, lot of jobs. But I decided that, in fact, Tata's wanted me to become the director of Tata Energy Research Institute. Everything is written in my book, 1970s America. But I said, if I have to do something, I should not be anybody's servant. It should be. So it was a very difficult job. In fact, when I look back today, I think that I must be really a mad person to come. Because nobody in his right mind would come to a playground like this Phaltan. There is nothing. It is genuine. If you want to do something different in life, you have to have that madness and joy. And this is what I can just give you, that you should have madness. I'm not saying that you should become completely mad like me, but have some madness. Because if you want to do something wonderful in your life, then have that passion and that conviction to do something different. Otherwise you'll all become bank knockers. They don't think. So I congratulate you to go into that job because you do not think, you just become bank knocker. But if you want to do something wonderful, and a lot of you who come from rural area should go back to your farm. Because to my mind, in fact I can give a whole lecture, but I didn't want to do that. The agriculture sector is the most challenging sector. In fact, one of the biggest problems that I see in agriculture is that we don't get very good people to come and work in agriculture. All IITians want to go abroad or go in software, but nobody wants to come into agriculture. And I am starting a very center of excellence in IIT Kanpur for high technology for rural. It will be a very major program which will be funded by a lot of, funding is not a problem, Tata Sons and so many people will fund it. But what is required is how we get some of the best brains in our country to work in agriculture. And agriculture requires a lot of sophisticated machinery, small farms, small machines, because we don't get enough laborers to work in agriculture. And that can only be solved by sophisticated machines, by the whole process of modern technology, and also to improve the productivity. So that is coming back to your question, it was very difficult, but I said to myself, if I should give a lot of lectures. I was the president of India Association in University of Florida. I should give lectures to everybody that we should all go back to India to do something wonderful. And I said, if I go back after coming here, I will be a million data points. So I stuck. And I think we have not done that bad. So please follow your dreams, please follow your inner conscience. My father went to jail with Mahatma Gandhi. He was for 2.5 years in jail in Lucknow. He was in the second stint of leadership after Nehru, Gandhi, Rafi Ahmed Kejwai. He, Bahuguna, Biju Patnaik, they were all together. And he was extremely mad that I left everything in America and came to a place called Phaltan. I did not know the language, I did not know anything. Because my wife was from Phaltan, so I said, let's go. So it was a difficult choice, but I think it was wonderful. So do that. If I could do it in Phaltan, which was nothing, today Satara and every other place is much better. But please do everything with intelligence, in excellence, and then you will be a good human.
सर
yes.
I have a question सर.
Sure.
जब आप गए थे तो क्या जाते वक्त ही आपने तय कर लिया था कि हमें वापस आना है?
हाँ, हमारे उस जमाने में देखो IIT कानपुर का IIT का रुतबा नहीं बना था अमेरिका में. There was no brand name for IIT because IITs had been formed in 60s and 70s were the first batches which came. IIT Kanpur was the most well known in America, and all of us who went, we always felt that we will come. Where we will come back, we didn't know. I was a little more tuned because of my father's influence, Gandhiji, freedom struggle, and at the same time, right from beginning, I read extensively about the Indian philosophy cost. One of the biggest problems that a lot of children I see, you don't read about the great classics of India. India is a very ancient civilization. It's a great country. We have given the thought to the whole world. Read that. And if you read that, you will be attached to the story of India. So I was attached to the story of India, but I didn't know where to be. But I was the only one who made this decision to come back. Nobody in my batch came back. Some came, but they all went back. It was a very difficult decision, but I think I am happier by making it.
Sir, why Phaltan only? Not in Uttar Pradesh.
Because
Sir, can we be a good person and politician at the same time, and how?
politician.
Yes, politician and good person
Yes,
at the same time.
Gandhiji showed that. Gandhiji was a very spiritual and very great man. And he was also a good politician. Because, you see, you are very young. I was born 2.5 years after Gandhiji died. But I had the great satisfaction of meeting a lot of my father's friends who worked with Gandhi. And I realized that he was a very, very fantastic politician. Because he had a very sharp brain. He was a yogi of very high order. And that sharp brain, whether he applied to rural reconstruction or in politics, negotiating with Britishers who were the gundas of first order, he negotiated with them on very equal terms because of his sharpness. And he showed that you can be a very good human being and a good politician. And if you follow that, in fact, our first Prime Minister Nehru was also a very good politician, very honest person. And this is what we should do for now.
सर आपने जो ई रिक्शा का इवेंट किया था
हाँ.
सो अर्ली टाइम से बहुत पहले की वो सोच थी सर. सो व्हाट इज योर इंस्पिरेशन फॉर ऑल इन्वेंशन व्हाट यू डिड बिकॉज वो समय से बहुत पहले थे.
Because all inventions came from my own personal problems. I solve those problems which I see as problems. I don't look for what is. I come from Lucknow, and when I was small, that was the only means of transport in Lucknow. And a lot of times when the rickshaw would take me on a hill, he had a very tough time. He would get down the rickshaw puller and push the rickshaw. So I would also get down and push the rickshaw. And I felt, as a mechanical engineer, that we should improve on it. And when I went to IIT Kanpur, naturally I thought my professors will give me some projects like that, but nobody was interested because at that time IIT Kanpur was only looking towards United States and space for that. In fact, I must have solved many more space rocket designs in my undergraduate than rickshaw. So when I came back, then I said, then I got involved with so many other things. So in 1990, the electric motor had just started coming. Because I had gone to give a talk in America, and I saw for the first time this very beautiful new DC motors. So this was a professor from, this was not a professor, he was a very senior engineer from Boeing Corporation. We started discussing and I told him, I said, this is my great desire. I have written all this in my Romance of Innovation. Please read that. It's a very fascinating story. That I have a great desire to improve the cycle rickshaw. So first of all, he didn't know what a cycle rickshaw was. So I explained to him. Then he said, this is a very good idea and I'll invite you. So he invited me to Seattle and I stayed with him and I met with other Boeing engineers and we thought that we will work on this electric motor, which 1992-93, which was very new. And I started doing that. So in 1995, I started the work. In 1999, we developed the first electric rickshaw. So MIT Boston, not MIT here. So MIT Boston, there was a journal on these motor power, on the human powered vehicles. So they put our rickshaw on the front page of the journal. And then it spread all over the world. Chinese copied it immediately. And at that time there was no internet, so but that journal, and so in 2000 we developed the first rickshaw. Sharad Pawar had come to our institute. I showed it to him. Pratap Pawar wrote that. Madhur Bajaj, who was the vice chairman of Bajaj Auto, he wrote that. So I told Bajaj Auto, I said, this is the future. He didn't. Our industry captains did not think ahead. And then all the rickshaws, the material that you get now is all imported from China. It's just so stupid. In fact, when I developed the rickshaw, there were no controllers. See, I developed the whole motor. I got some people in Pune to design the motor for me. All the batteries were Indian-made batteries. And the biggest problem was the controller. So one of the world's largest control manufacturers is Curtis. So I went and met the chairman of Curtis in New York. And he was very impressed. He said, this is amazing. So he wanted to develop the electric cycles. But he said, this is my controller, you can do it. So in 2000, the first electric rickshaw of this country was produced in Phaltan. Such a small place with very limited resources, and we did that. So that is what the message should be. You can come from any Kerala, but you can do wonderful things with very limited resources. This is required, and of passion. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable information. It will definitely help us. I would like to request
माझी काही भाषण देण्याची तयारी नाही आहे, पण मी काही विचार फक्त मांडते. आता सध्या सगळीकडे आपण पाहतो की जलसंधारण याच्यावर जास्त भर दिला जातो, की पाणी कसं मिळवायचं, कसं जिरवायचं, कसं साठवायचं. तर माझा जो काय अनुभव आहे आमच्या संशोधनात, त्यात मला नेहमी असं वाटत आलंय की मातीकडे कोणी लक्ष देत नाही. आणि जर मातीचं संधारण केलं, कॉन्झर्वेशन ॲग्रिकल्चर, तर केव्हाही आपल्याला पाण्याचं आपोआपच संवर्धन करता येतं. म्हणून बरीचशी पुस्तकं ह्याच्यावर मी वाचली. तर अमेरिकेच्या इतिहासात सुद्धा त्यांच्याकडे डस्ट बोल म्हणून मोठा प्रकार झाला होता, त्याच्याबद्दल तुम्हाला माहिती असेल. तर तिथे माती इतकी उडून गेली त्यांच्या शेतीच्या जमिनीवरची, ती न्यूयॉर्कमध्ये सुद्धा अंधार पसरला. ते इतकी वाईट परिस्थिती झाली, तेव्हा त्यांनी संपूर्ण देशात मातीचं संधारण कसं करायचं याची मोहीम चालू केली. ह्याच प्रकारचं काम इथेही भारतात व्हायला पाहिजे. आपल्याकडे एवढ्या मोठ्या प्रमाणावर आपल्याला मातीची धूप होताना दिसत नाही, पण पावसाळ्यानंतर जर तुम्ही ओढे, नाले, नद्या सगळ्या पाहिल्या तर जणू काही चहा वाहतोय त्यातनं असं वाटतं. तर किती माती, जी उपजाऊ माती आहे, ती वाहून जात असेल हे त्यावरून कळतं. त्या मातीच्या संधारणासाठी ही सगळी जी स्मार्ट टेक्नॉलॉजी आहे ती जर आपण वापरली तर शेतीचा खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणावर विकास होऊ शकेल. त्यासाठी एक म्हणजे विना नांगरट शेती ही बरेच शेतकरी हल्ली करायला लागले आहेत, पण त्यासाठी पुरेशी मशिनरी आपल्याकडे नाही आहे. अमेरिकेत वगैरे खूप डेव्हलप झाली आहे, पण त्यांच्याकडे हजारो एकरची शेती असते, तेव्हा ही मोठी मोठी अवजड मशिनरी आहे ती इथे आणून त्याचा काहीच उपयोग नाही. आपल्याकडे 2-3 एकराची शेती असते, तेव्हा इथे लहान प्रमाणावर काय करता येईल यावर भर दिला पाहिजे आणि स्मार्ट टेक्नॉलॉजीचा त्याच्यावर खूप उपयोग होऊ शकेल. तेव्हा माझं एवढं थोडक्यात म्हणणं आहे की शेतीसाठी फारच काही अगदी अक्टो गोष्टी पाहिजेत, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स पाहिजे असं काही नाहीये. लहान लहान गोष्टी, जसं मातीच्या संधारणासाठी तुम्हाला काय करता येईल, काय प्रकारची पिकं लावावी, पावसाळ्यात धूप होऊ नये मातीची म्हणून बंदिस्ती कशी करायची, अशा साध्या साध्या गोष्टींनी सुद्धा आपल्याला शेतीची उत्पादकता वाढवता येईल. मग इतर गोष्टी जशा वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची नवीन पिकं ती आता खूप शेतकरी वापरून पाहतात. विशेषतः तुम्ही जर ॲग्रोवन हे सकाळचं जे प्रकाशन आहे ते पाहिलं असेल तर त्यात अनेक शेतकऱ्यांच्या तुम्हाला अशा कथा आढळून येतील की शेतकऱ्यांनी खूप नवे नवे प्रयोग केले आणि करत राहतात. तेव्हा अशा तऱ्हेचेच प्रयोग केले तर इतरांना त्यापासून प्रेरणा मिळू शकते. तेव्हा थोडक्यात मी सांगतो. धन्यवाद.